Have you ever met someone who wasn't afraid of the dark, but was absolutely terrified of being seen? That was my friend, Elias. He was a young man who could walk home alone at midnight without a single worry. But the moment he had to speak in front of people, everything fell apart. His chest would tighten, his hands would start to shake, and his voice would just disappear. It wasn't because he was weak, not at all. It was because fear had been whispering to him his entire life. It whispered that he wasn't good enough. It whispered that if he dared to speak, he'd fail. It whispered that if people saw the real him, they would judge him, laugh at him, and reject him. And for years, Elias believed every single word of it. He let those whispers build a cage around him, until one day, everything changed. Let me take you back. Elias grew up hiding behind a wall of silence. He was the kind of person who would rehearse what to say 1,000 times in his head, only to end up saying nothing at all. He'd walk into a crowded room and immediately try to shrink, hoping no one would even notice he existed. Fear was his constant shadow, and shyness was the armor he wore to protect himself. But you know, even the strongest armor becomes a prison when you wear it for too long. It keeps you safe, but it also keeps you trapped. One afternoon, something happened that pushed Elias right to the edge of his comfort zone, or rather, right off the cliff. His local community group was organizing a volunteer event to clean up a neighborhood park. It was a cause he really cared about, but somehow, by a complete accident, a total mix-up, his name ended up on the list to give the opening welcome message. The opening message. When he saw his name on the schedule, he froze. It felt like the air was sucked out of the room. His throat tightened. His heart started pounding. His first instinct was to run, to find the organizer and say there's been a terrible mistake, to disappear and pretend he was never there. But as he stood there, paralyzed by panic, a tiny voice inside him, a voice he hadn't heard in a long time, whispered, "You can't keep living like this." The night was torture. Elias just stared at the ceiling, his mind racing, playing a horror movie of everything that could possibly go wrong. He imagined people laughing at him. He pictured them whispering to each other, judging him. He could almost hear them wondering why on earth he was the one up there speaking. The fear was so loud, it felt like a thunderstorm raging inside his chest. He was drowning in what-ifs. But as the first light of dawn started to peek through his window, Elias remembered something his grandmother used to tell him when he was a little boy. She used to say, "Courage doesn't mean you don't feel fear. Courage means you walk forward even while your fear is screaming at the top of its lungs." That simple, powerful truth hit him like a lightning bolt. It wasn't about not being scared. It was about acting despite the fear. So that day, with his grandmother's words echoing in his mind, Elias walked into the community hall. His palms were so sweaty, he kept wiping them on his jeans. His heart felt like it was trying to escape from his ribcage. And when they called his name and handed him the microphone, he almost gave it back. He almost whispered, "I can't." Almost. But he didn't. He took a deep, shaky breath, and he stepped forward. He walked to the center of that small stage, the microphone feeling impossibly heavy in his trembling hand. His voice cracked on the very first sentence. It was just a little wobble, but to him, it sounded like a sonic boom. A few people in the front row looked up, maybe out of curiosity, maybe out of pity. In that moment, every cell in his body begged him to stop, to apologize and walk away. But he kept going. He remembered his grandmother. He remembered the quiet voice telling him he couldn't live like this anymore. He spoke slowly at first, his words careful and measured. Then, as he started talking about why the park mattered to their community, his voice became a little clearer. Then, a little stronger. He wasn't just reading words from a page anymore. He was speaking from his heart. And by the time he finished, the room was completely silent. Not because he had failed, but because his genuine, heartfelt words had actually touched them. After the event, as Elias was packing up, a woman walked up to him. She looked at him with a kind smile and said, "You know, I've been hiding too. I'm always so scared of what people will think. But hearing you today, it made me realize I don't have to stay afraid. In that single moment, everything changed for Elias. It was a revelation. He realized something that fear never, ever wanted him to discover. Fear isn't a wall, it's a door. It feels solid, it looks impenetrable, but it's just a door. And the moment you summon the courage to walk through it, you take back your power. From that day forward, Elias made a decision, a conscious choice. Every time fear tried to silence him, he would speak anyway. Every time shyness tried to make him shrink, he would take one small, deliberate step forward. He didn't magically transform into a world-class orator overnight. It wasn't a movie montage. It was a slow, difficult, and sometimes messy process. But each step, no matter how small, made him a little braver. Each choice to face his fear, instead of running from it, made him a little stronger. And eventually, the fear that once controlled his entire life became a fear that he controlled. He learned that fear gets weaker when you face it. It thrives in the dark when you avoid it, but it shrivels in the light of action. He learned that shyness fades when you practice courage. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And most importantly, he learned that confidence doesn't just appear out of nowhere. Confidence doesn't come first. Confidence is the reward you get asterisk after asterisk you move. It's the result of your action, not the prerequisite for it. And maybe, just maybe, you're a bit like Elias. Maybe fear has been whispering lies to you, holding you back, silencing your voice, and burying your incredible potential under layers of self-doubt. If that's you, I want you to listen to this very carefully. You don't defeat fear by waiting for it to go away. You defeat it by walking straight towards it. You defeat shyness by stepping into the very moments that scare you the most. You defeat both by refusing to let them make you disappear. Your future, the life you dream of, is on the other side of the fear you keep avoiding. Your purpose is waiting for you right behind the door you're too afraid to open. And your confidence, it's already inside you. It's not something you need to find. It's something you need to unlock. And the key is action. So today, I want to challenge you. Choose courage. Not perfect, fearless, superhero courage. Just one small, trembling step. Say hello to someone new. Raise your hand in a meeting. Post that video you've been hesitating on. Make that phone call you've been dreading. Because that one small step can change everything. It can be the first step on a journey that leads you to a life you never thought was possible. Just like it did for Elias. If this story spoke to you, let me know in the comments and give this video a like. Your story matters, and your voice deserves to be heard. And don't forget to subscribe to Word and Soul for more stories that inspire and empower. Thanks for watching.